Since the release of Valorant, one of the most popular maps to play Sage on has been Split. When attacking, Sage is able to throw slows into the site, limiting the defender's ability to swing angles. When playing as a defender, she is able to use her utility to make pushing mid a nightmare for the attackers, while supporting her team on B from Heaven. In this video, I will cover what I think are the basic slow orb lineups and walls every Sage player should know when attacking and defending on Split. First, let's talk about some slow orb lineups to use for attacking A site. One of the easiest lineups you can learn is for slowing A Heaven and Rafters. As you will see, this slow orb does not cover the entirety of Rafters, but will cover the run out from Heaven. To throw this slow, tuck yourself into this corner next to the box in A main. Look up at this green tree to the top and throw. Another important slow orb lineup to learn is for screens. A lot of defenders like to play an elbow or the screens itself, and this slow will make it hard for them to peek at your team or rotate into or out of sight. To throw this slow, tuck yourself into this corner next to the box in A main. Look at the top left of this corner with your crosshair, aim slightly up, then throw. The final slow orb lineup I will cover for A site is for slowing the top of ramps. This slow is useful to stop an AWPer from peeking your team from the right side. To throw this slow, come into this corner in front of the coffee shop and jump onto this plant. Look towards the ramp and up until you see this wood fence. Line up your crosshair with the post, second from the right, and throw. Switching over to the B site, let's talk about a few more slow orb lineups, starting with one for B Heaven and Rafters. Similar to the one on A site, this lineup will not cover the full Rafters, but will land deep in Heaven, making it difficult for the defenders to peek as your team crosses into the site. To throw this slow, come into the corner next to this box in B main. Using your slow orb tooltip box as a point of reference, place the left side of the line that runs under the box into the corner of this building here, and throw. Next, let's talk about slowing backside behind this wooden sign. This is a common place for defenders to hide, and they will typically swing out while your team is pushing into sight. A well-placed slow orb will be able to negate this angle while also not slowing down your team. To throw this slow, come into this corner next to the box in B main. Aiming at this right section of the chipped wall, noticing the skyscraper in the background, move your crosshair up to about halfway and throw. Another useful spot to slow is the back sight under the rafters behind the pillar. This is a common position for defenders to play, and this slow will make it difficult for them to push your team while you enter into the site. To throw this slow, come into this corner next to the box in B main. Using your crosshair, aim up to the skyscraper and look at this light source at the top middle of the building and throw. The final slow I will cover is for Hell. This slow will make it hard for defenders to drop out of Heaven, and will also trap defenders in this corner, making them an easy kill. To throw this slow, come into this corner next to the box in B main. Using your crosshair, look up at this bus sign and a little to the top left at this corner here, and throw. One of the most common walls a Sage can place is one like this to help her team quickly cross into B site. Another spot Sage can place her wall when attacking from Heaven is here, blocking the stairs. If you turn it horizontally like this, it will take a while for the enemy players to be able to destroy all of the pieces, slowing down the retake and alerting you to their position. The final spot I will mention for Sage to place her wall is here to block the defender spawn. Not only can you slow down the enemy's retake, but you will have a headshot angle on defenders when they drop into hell, and have some nice off angles into enemies in heaven. This wall also gives you a jump spot up onto the rafters. Let's move on and talk about playing defense as Sage. The most common area of the map for Sage to hold on defense is mid. Her wall is capable of covering the entirety of mid, forcing the attackers to break it. The wall also helps by creating deeper pockets for the defenders to play behind. Her slow orbs are able to punish attackers caught in the open for easy kills, or can stall for more time so your team can rotate to assist. The other role Sage is able to play from heaven is a supportive role for your B player. If the attackers are pushing through the B garage, you have a few slow orb lineups you can throw from heaven onto the B site. First, let's start with a slow orb that lands in front of the garage entrance that is meant to slow the attacking players as they push into sight, trapping them in the choke point and netting your team some easy kills. To throw this slow, stand in heaven on the left side. Aim at the top right corner of this pillar in the middle of sight and throw. This slow orb is powerful when combined with other utility, so make sure you're communicating your slows to your teammates. Another slow you can throw is for the back pillar on site. You can combo this with the first slow to completely stall a rush into sight, or you can use this to help with a retake, as this is a common post plant location for attackers to play. To throw this slow, stand in heaven on the left side. Aim just under this air conditioner on the wall, into the shadow, and throw. The next slow orb lineup is for the default plant spot. You can combo this slow orb with your teammate's utility to help deny a plant. To throw this slow, stand in heaven on the left side. Notice this string of orange signs. Aim above the leftmost one and throw. The final slow I will cover from heaven is for the back right corner of sight. This slow is useful for a retake from heaven, as this is a common spot for defenders to play in the post plant. To throw this slow, come into this corner with the box. Look at the top right of this big window on this building back here, and throw. This will leave a small section in the back corner not covered by the slow, but this is okay because they have nowhere to go from here. If instead, you are rotating into B from the spawn side, here is another slow orb you can throw for the back pillar of sight. To throw this slow, stand in this back corner here, and move your crosshair up to the top roof. Count 1, 2, and a half pegs over. Now, using your slow orb icon, move the top of it so it aligns with this building here, and throw. This will land a little slow, so make sure you time your swing with the slow orb landing. That's all for this video, and for what I would consider the basics any Sage player should know when playing on Split. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned anything from this video or found it helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel, as it helps me out a lot. My upload schedule is once a week, and I alternate between guides like this, highlights, and some longer form gameplay videos. I also stream on Twitch several times a week at twitch.tv/steepsteps, so make sure to drop by and say hi.
Last one, hell. Oh, good slow. Oh, he can't move. He's stuck. He can't move.